Pick up. No intro, apparently. My intro music did not play. Pick up again. That was a little weird. My intro music didn't play when I hit go. StreamYard will definitely be hearing about that, but we are back in full effect. I would like to say what is up to all my Reds family out there, certainly the ones that support this channel and those that care about others' Reds in our community. Appreciate the support and the love. Welcome back to Liverpool 12 Man Show. Tonight is one of those episodes, whether you're watching it live or on replay, where I guess some of these headlines are going to be really loud headlines. I guess you call it like that, or maybe louder than the truth. So we're going to do both. We're going to talk about the reports about Dominik Szoboszlai, for instance, who has apparently agreed to a new deal in principle. We're talking about I think, silly news about the slot could be sacked news or noise, whatever you want to call it. We're going to talk and we're going to try and talk about things going on with our team, obviously. But we're also, big up, I saw Eric chime in, big up, Eric. And we're going to try it all back to, we're going to tie it all back to when we just watched what we saw in the Emirates, basically. A Liverpool side that went to the league leaders, set up in a way we barely recognize. I think at least I don't recognize this Liverpool team. It is ever evolving somewhat, and came out with a result that some people are calling progress, others are calling proof that standards have dropped. So let's go step by step. We'll get the conversation rolling, and we'll also get some input, hopefully by you, also maybe by a panel if I'm joined by one. And I guess the first things first, let's talk about Dom. Big up, Norm, by the way, big up. Let's talk about Dominik Szoboszlai. So boss. All right. The interest, the loyalty, and what it says about Liverpool's future planning, I guess you could say, is what we're going to be talking about. Big up. Appreciate High Lord giving us a little update on what's going on. Hope you're well. Egypt up 1-0 against Ivory Coast. Mamouche has scored the opening goal for that one, so big up to that. Big up to Mohamed Salah's pursuit of Egyptian coronation. But all right, let's just start with the most positive headline we've had in a while, I would say, which is Szoboszlai and a new contract. I know a lot of people have been waiting for some people to resign or extend their deals. Some are still in limbo, like Robbo and the likes. But the reports are doing the rounds that Real Madrid have been seeing if Dom would be interested in changing his locale to Spain. And even Bayern Munich has been trying to find out if he would maybe like to change his locale to Germany, maybe. But Dominik Szoboszlai is being reported that he's saying, appreciate it, but I'm not moving. That's reportedly what he said. Appreciate the interest, but I'm not moving. Liverpool is home for me. Line matters to some of us that are more, old school when it comes to loyalty and to recognizing what the badge and the loyalty to the badge and the badge's loyalty to some of these players should be. The loyalty to Liverpool was greater is a very big sign of importance, I guess you could say, or at least certainly a sign of relevance. And I'll add some context before we start popping champagne, right? Um, basically, Dom's current deal runs to 2028. So this isn't necessarily he wasn't in that stage where he's like, oh, he's got to sign now, or we're going to be in trouble of losing him on a free. Um, but this is Liverpool playing chess a little bit here and there. The club basically saying if I don't want to say if the vultures are circling, in the I live in the desert, so the vultures are circling early. We lock the doors early, become proactive. It's what big clubs are supposed to do when they know a player is about to his value is about to spike. And I believe that Dominik Szoboszlai has become a pillar to this team. I think that I said he was going to have possibly a breakout. I said not possibly. I thought my prediction was he's going to have a breakout season this season, and that he was going to be our most important player this year. And this was even before we started to get Isak and Ekitike and the likes. But I honestly do think that Dominik Szoboszlai is a phenomenal player that is a workhorse of a player as well, and he is certainly tailor fit to be a Liverpool Red. I'm not saying that for hype. That's my reality. At least that's our reality. A lot of people have definitely turned the page to come closer to feeling what I'm saying. And when this season has been shaky, when rhythm has been missing, when the team's been possibly even pushing for some type of a semblance or relevance, Dom has been the source. I know some people use some, I would call it derogatory kind of language to try to lessen the player's abilities or the player's talents. But I still think that Dominik Szoboszlai is a very talented player that will have his day of being recognized as such by all in the Red community. So it says a lot, though, I think, about what Real and Bayern Munich's interest means in this matter. If you're a super club shopping for midfielders who can run, someone that can press, someone that can carry the ball, someone can strike from range, maybe give you the edge in big matches, Dom is on that list. I think he's high on a lot of people's list. Maybe not always the top name for some, but certainly on that list. And that's important. Liverpool, an early renewal is a statement. We're not going to let another giant come in and, take one of our better players, as has happened possibly even before. And we're not letting this become a saga. We're not letting the season's turbulence make us vulnerable. That's something that's important. If Dom's future is virtually secured, now we can change the attention to getting the names that are on the cusp of possibly leaving us for free, and we can start to look at that alarm clock that's going off for Ibu, or the alarm clock that's going off for Rabo. But it is something that we have to keep in mind is important that we get these deals done. And I hope everyone, I would think everyone would be pleasantly happy the fact that we've gotten a deal secured with a player that has really started to pick up the momentum in his progression of talent. And a young player still, very young player still. But I also, yesterday I wanted to do a tactical breakdown for Arsenal. And I didn't do it in the other episode because I didn't want to run up against too much time against spending a lot of time in yesterday. But I don't know about you guys, but yesterday our game against Arsenal, some have claimed it as being, oh, this is Arne Slot really doing what he needs to do with the team and this and that. I personally don't think it's a masterclass. I think he's done well to get a result. I'm not disputing that. The Emirates is not an easy place to go. It's also not an easy team to play against, certainly at this stage of their development. But it got the job done in negating Arsenal, but did complete the job in finishing our chances. I think that was like the biggest like one of the biggest downfalls of yesterday was we had opportunities to capitalize, and we just didn't. There's a lot to take from how Liverpool earned this point. I'm definitely going to agree on that. Again, I'm kind of at a turning point with Lawrence McKenna and his opinion on what occurred and where we are and how important the game was and everything else. But it is something that we needed to discuss, and it's something that hopefully with the breakdown, I even have some questions for a panel, and luckily for me, I have Nolante now joining us. So big up Nolante, by the way.
Yeah, big up 12. Hope you're good, bro. Good chat as always. Yeah, my last brief one, and then tomorrow I'll be free.
Okay.
Yeah.
You have like are you at work now, or are you just coming back? Or
No,
something?
I'm gonna go in. At 8. It's my last one anyway. So yeah.
Okay. All right. Then your weekend starts.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Some fun stuff to get into, I'm sure, hopefully for yourself. I know that there is Nigeria moving on 2-0. Egypt, it's very early in that game, that Ivory Coast game, but Egypt is currently up 1-0 in that game. So we have that to look at. Also, some crazy games, some crazy upsets, by the way, in the FA Cup. Some crazy upsets in the FA Cup. Everton is out of the FA Cup. That's not an upset per se, but I'm just saying that's a team that we do recognize. They lost to Sunderland. Leicester moved on. But I think I don't know which is the bigger upset for you. I think the Crystal Palace upset is a bigger upset than the not the Fulham game. What's the game I'm trying to think of?
Everton.
What's that?
Okay, what today? What, Everton? Or?
No, it was Crystal Palace lost, but who Nottingham Forest. That's what I just said anyway. Yeah.
Nottingham Forest. Oh no, 10 times. Yeah, it's 10 times big. It's 10 times bigger. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's in the history. It's top 3 FA Cup upsets.
Yeah. Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. Top 3. Yeah. It's a really big upset.
What is your top? What is this? Is this your top 3, or is this a top 3 that you heard about?
No, in terms of FA Cup upsets, there's one that was before our born that has always been heard of, but it's up there. It's definitely up there. It's definitely up there.
I don't know if you saw the game. Top 3 for you?
Yeah.
Is it
top 3? Yeah.
Tell us if they
top 3. Us, yeah. I don't know. You will know, but yeah, he's up there. It's top 3. It's near enough up there.
Okay. The Forest is a big result too, though. I think too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 100%. Yeah. That's a big result. Yeah. That's an upset. but definitely not on the level of what happened today. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. What they're like sixth division or something like that. They're like,
Yeah, FA Cup, yeah. I think the last one was in the 80s, I think. I'm sure it was the 80s. I think it was Coventry City, I believe. Someone have to fact
yeah,
check, but they lost to a non-league team like that, like Crystal Palace as FA Cup holders. But yeah, it's up there. Oh, Spurs are in. Oh, no, they're not. Oh, they are. Oh, yeah. So I'm just multitasking.
um,
The Spurs Villa game.
yeah. I think Spurs lost, didn't they, or no? I think
No, they're still playing. They were 2-0.
oh,
They're
they're
being
still playing.
booed off by it's 2-1 now, and they scored, put one back, but they're in the ascendancy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um. uh. Yeah. Newcastle pushes past Bournemouth in the FA Cup as well. But I guess the other big news would be Wolves scoring 6-1. That was a big result for them. I'm certain they're happy about that, considering the year they've been having. And I was going to say Manchester City against Exeter. 10 goals in that game. 10 goals.
Yeah.
Pep was watching from the sidelines, up in the stands, and quite a result for them. Quite a result. But I do see now Watford is down Bristol City for nothing. Birmingham is up to nothing. Grimsby is up to 1, 4-1 now in that Watford game. And you're right. I see. But 71st minute, Villa still up 2-1. I guess it's tough because Spurs are playing at home against Villa, and they're getting booed. You're saying, huh? They're getting booed.
Yeah, they booed off at half time. Yeah. But they're playing a bit better, so who knows? Still time to go. So who knows? They could equalise, and then yeah.
Some big score lines. The fact that they did, it wasn't that and also it wasn't that Macclesfield, right?
Mm-hmm.
FC. It wasn't that they ended up going to penalties or something like that. They beat them 2-1 in regular time. So that's a
Yeah,
that's a that's a good result. It's a very good
it's
result, obviously.
after. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. And it's not like they played a weakened team, Palace. I know they
They
scored this morning.
didn't.
Play. Yeah, so that even makes
They
it. Yeah,
didn't. I noticed that.
yeah,
I know. I mean, Gay was playing in that game.
yeah. The
Uh,
great Adam
my U.S.
Walton,
national team player Richards was playing.
Richards.
The great
Yeah,
Walton was playing in that game. Yep.
yeah,
Yeah, they had some names that were a part of that
yeah.
squad that
So,
just kind of didn't want to put in a real measure, but it goes on, it goes on, it goes on, and this
yeah,
and the beat goes on, I guess, for them, I guess. So
yeah,
um big up Norm saying hello to you, Nalante.
yeah. Big up, man.
Um
Always big up yourself, Norm.
Red Arm supporter, definitely in the house. Yeah, I can't believe that. When I saw that score. I watched. I did watch a bit of the City game, and that was just ridiculous. 10-1 was pretty wild. Glad that extra, right. I'm glad that they got a goal at least in it late. Obviously, after there was like, I think it was like 9-0, and they got their goal back.
Mm.
At least
Definitely.
it's one thing to get beat. It's one thing to get beat, but then to get beat, get humiliated somewhat, or get such a humiliating score put down on
Yeah,
you, and then for you
yeah.
not to score at all, that makes it even worse. That's all. It makes it
Was
even
in it.
different.
Yeah, exactly.
Um, I was going to break down some of this. I have some questions for you from my tactic breakdown. Some of the stuff that I do. I like to do breakdowns. I like breaking down the concepts that we saw because yesterday, or not yesterday, but 2 days ago, we saw a team, and again, this is something like some people are calling it masterclass. Some of us are saying that, what are we watching here? Is this where our standards have gone? Watching a Liverpool team in a virtual low block at times, 5, 6 guys in the back line, or even I think you pointed this out, like when Cody Gakpo playing basically like
Yeah, it's, centre back. Yeah,
a
that was
center
weird.
half.
That was yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was
yeah,
just I was going mad. I was like, what is going on here?
yeah, yes. So I guess first the lineup tells the story. I guess you could say there was no natural forwards technically. We had Verts the false nine. You had Cody and Frimpong out wide. You had Dom as in the midfield. He was a 10, but it was almost like you could say it was two false nines, or it was two, if you want to call them false tens, I guess you could call it. You know, um, McAllister and Grav ended up being in the pivots for us. Then you have Bradley, Kanate, Verge, and Kirkes in front of Allison. On paper, it's makeshift, especially away at the league leaders. We get that. But the shape was intentional. The way that Slot had us go out there, it was intentional. I forget who was saying it yesterday. Was it you or JK, or maybe even JP? But someone was pointing out the fact that, or maybe it might have been even Pops actually. Someone was pointing out on the panel how they thought they thought Arteta was silly to put the lineup that he did out against us. He probably should have put out a more rotated lineup against us and held back some of those players like Asaka or something like that. Some of the players that he ended up subbing off in the later stages of the game, maybe having them be the players that come on in those later stages, fresh, and some fresh ideas to bring to the fold. But in the first half, Arsenal pinned Liverpool back. I understand that's true for at least 20 minutes. Liverpool's defense plan was, I would call it panic defending, or wasn't panic defending, excuse me. It was, prevention defending, excuse me. It was structured. Liverpool kept a +1 feel at the back, always wanted to have an additional player to whoever was the attacking fold for Arsenal. Fullbacks were tracking wingers, center backs were doubling when possible. Midfielders were assigned with, some very disciplined roles. I will say that McAllister did look more focused in this game. He played well. I think he neutralized Odegaard in this game. Really, you didn't really tell me, you can't really tell me that much of what Odegaard did in this game. And I think that was a result of McAllister. I thought Gravy was absolutely back to some closer to his standards, and tracking Rice, Dom midfield, and was the deep receiver for our outlet, and crucially the wings had our wingers drop into a defensive line, and we talked about how there's like sometimes 5, if not 6 Liverpool Reds playing in that back line. That matters because Arsenal's identity is overload line, get isolations. We saw when we saw what Saka was trying to do to Kirkes on that wing, and it looked peak. It looked like it was going to be a long day for us. The way Saka was trying to just use and abuse Kirkes in that first 20 minutes. They even wanted Timber to occupy half spaces, but they wanted bodies in the box and set piece pressure. Here's the key. Even when those spaces open, Arsenal didn't do anything. I don't know about you, but I don't think that Gyökeres fits this team. I've said it earlier in the year. I said it last year too, but I've been saying it this year. I said that one thing that probably Arteta is looking forward to the most is getting Havertz back. It sounds weird. I know some of you aren't necessarily Kai Havertz fans, but I think that Havertz and his false nine portrayal is a better suited fit than trying to have an outright striker in Gyökeres. And look, they moved the ball around the block, not through it. You got to give Liverpool credit. You got to give Arne Slot credit for setting it up that way. They're blocking lanes, shutting the middle, and partly Arsenal's risk-averse approach to the game wasn't flowing. It wasn't really – it had flaws in it. And in the second half, Liverpool looked like Arne moved some things around, and it wasn't reckless, but it was braver. I like the fact that in the second half, we got to second balls. We weren't just getting to that first header and then allowing for Arsenal to recover and push us deeper into our shell. And I thought Gravenberch became the release valve. He was shielding, he was turning, he was carrying the ball well. Suddenly, Liverpool can move up the pitch with purpose. And the one sequence I think that said it all was when we saw Gravy drive, he protected it under pressure, he turns, he releases the Frimpong. Frimpong is in, and the final ball, if it was cleaner, might have resulted in us getting 3 points. But I'm not going to call this a masterclass. Tactically, it was coherent, but it was frustrating to see our standards, in my opinion, be lowered to this level to get a win against the Arsenal team. And that's disappointing. I'll ask you, Nalante, does Slot's first half approach show intelligence, or was it too cautious for a match against Arsenal where there were opportunities to really hurt Arsenal?
Yeah, I think the first 20-25 minutes, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I put a video of my match review on Copish. Go check that out. And so that's Copish.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, put my
You're on the match review? Cool.
Yeah. I put a video out. Yeah. I'll start doing these things out. But
shucks.
Yeah.
All the ladies out there, you get to see Nalante on camera. Oh, shucks.
Not a pretty sight right now, but there you go.
Go. Just go. Yeah.
Feelers out there, but anyway,
Right.
I don't discriminate. But anyway,
there you go.
But look, the first 20 minutes was a bit of a shambles because I'm seeing, like I said on my match review, I'm seeing playing a back three. I'm seeing Cody Gakpo playing as a free with Feverdy and Kanai. I was getting mad. I was thinking, what is this? And then you seen Wirtz and Sobo running like, up and down like, headless chickens, unfortunately. No.
I know.
Hey, I'm not Lee. And if you want to do that, listen, Noam, hey, it's a free show, but don't send me the link, Noam. Don't send me the link.
No.
But look, it was a bit frustrating. And then obviously when you saw Saka, he took Kirkus to the shops, and Bradley and Trossard go once or twice past the byline, and you're thinking, oh, this is going to be a long night. But then after that, the first half, credit to Slot, we eventually kind of got in the game. He was telling the team to push up more. You can see, and this is why sometimes people want to say they want to play this and that, but people understand sometimes Slot, not every time he's telling the team to play a certain way, but they're not following his instructions. So I think sometimes people have to be a guide that, because sometimes I see him frustrated. So, and it happens, a manager, we want the players to do this, and they're not doing what we're telling you to do, or the other team is too on you. So happens. And I saw VVD, there was a consistent, he was saying, everyone, again, captain, it's not a big thing, but you should do. You're the captain, you're going through the manager's instructions. So he said, everyone push up, 5-yard pace, and then we're much more solid with that. And then we came into the game a little bit. So first 25 minutes was horrible. I think probably all of us were probably thinking massacre. oh my God, is it going to be 2-3? But after that,
Mm.
it was much better. We crept slowly slowly into the game.
Do you think? I think that there's a lot of people out there that were saying that Maka had a good game. I think he did have a good game, an improved game. I'm not saying he had a 9 out of 10 or something type game, but he did have improved game from his previous performances. And is it? I think that the difference this season has been certainly, in my opinion, that if Gravy has a good game, Maka tends to have a good game. It tends to be a real like give and take relationship that they have on the pitch. And it's important that both of them are firing on all cylinders for them to both have a good game. Is that your interpretation, or um, is that maybe going not really classifying it correctly?
I don't think so, because I think when Grav was having good games at the start and Maka was off it, he was very good. Even though Slot, told him to be more advanced, which we can't deal with that right now. And then after
Mhm,
his form dropped,
mhm,
yeah, his form completely dropped. So I wouldn't say classify if Grav has a good game, Maka has a good game, and then Grav's form has suddenly dropped. I just think that, like you said, it was improved. It was improved to a certain extent, but we need more, man, from the World Cup winner, man. We need more. We need more from that. Obviously he should be benched. Benched, but he was. To be fair, he was benched the game before against Leeds,
mhm.
and so maybe the improved performance is a little fire up his belly, but it was good, but it was decent, but we need more from Mac. But again, it was decent enough for the game.
Okay. Um, the question Hyler asked, didn't pretty much every Liverpool player go for a man-to-man structured defending against Arsenal? I think because we pressed back, we were able to do a more of a man-to-man presser as opposed to going into zonal marking and stuff like that. Um, I think that's I prefer man. I don't know about you, but I prefer set pieces and the likes. I prefer man marking as opposed to zonal marking when it comes to
Mm,
defending against set pieces. It's just because I always say, like, you know what, as long as it take each player has to take on a more accountability, as in like just as long as you do your job, guess what? If we all do, if everyone does their job on the pitch, guess what? We're all going to be successful, you know. And sometimes obviously there's going to be targets out there, this and that, and especially those targets that they have targeted for their set pieces or for their free kicks or whatever corners. As long as whoever we have marking them can hold it down, I think that we should be okay. Getting to that first ball and then being able to clear it, or getting to that first ball, creating a break, that's important for us to have happen. Last question I have on this section is this. Yesterday, I was and this is where like I know that I was talking about how out of all the outside of our group, um, the content creators that I enjoy watching or originally started watching YouTube through was Lawrence McKenna, and he's been taking some flack with his, spin doctor uh, takes towards the games. And in this game, in this review he gave, he was really, really proactive against those of us that were pointing out that we didn't enjoy seeing. We think maybe this is our standards dropping, or maybe because the low block, seeing Liverpool in a low block was almost like insulting in a sense, almost. But this game, I believe, was there for us to get. I think that this game, especially in that second half, I understand that we didn't have any shots on goal. But if Dom is better with his free kicks, if Frimpong is better with his crosses, um, if anything, if maybe the referees give us a call in the box. I think the Vert's foul or Vert's non-call was a foul actually in the box. I don't know if you do or don't. Yeah, I know. I understand. Some of you might think it's a soft foul, but it's still a foul all the same. The question, though, I think really symbolized a good bit of what this game was about was the fact that Arne Slot decided not to go with substitutions in this game. And I'm asking you, Nalante, was the lack of substitution smart game management, or was this a missed chance to steal a late winner? Was it a chance to steal it late with some fresh legs?
I wouldn't call it smart game management. I think there was a chance, fresh legs to go. The game was there for the taking. The game, when you have the money dangling, what's the thing on Netflix? Squid Game. Squid Game. I mean, I think every year
Yeah.
Squid Game. There's a competition. I know it's individual, but you're getting down to the 5, to the 4. It looks done great, and it's like time was ticking. And there's a time there. The game was there for the taking, and I know your resident, your fellow content creator, 12, old Callum. Callum copy saying, and then someone else said, basically, before he made the mistake of putting Gomez on at Fulham, and then we conceded a goal, which was such a silly outtake because what's Gomez got to do with the goal? That's a team thing. Exactly, yeah. Or we put him on so the lads wasn't concentrated. That should not be the case. So him putting up sub, people saying, I think Drifty said it, which I disagree. And saying, because of the mistake he did because of that. So he said, made sure let the team play it out, which I don't think. No, the game was there for the taking. It's like we've won the game, but we didn't win the game. We drew. I think people thought, it's a decent win.
That's where
We
I'm
drew.
losing it. That's where,
Yeah. I mean, it's okay, but I'm not. Yeah, sorry, 12. But sorry, before I let you finish.
Go ahead.
Like we've had all these draws and stuff like that. So yeah, it was okay, but it's not good enough. The game was there. Put Rio and Chiesa on. Let's go and get the win. It's simple as. I don't care if it's Arsenal, Barcelona, PSG. I don't care. I mean, what are we doing here? Yeah, it was decent, but it's not enough. Right in our current state, it's not enough.
Yeah. It says a lot. I know about the fact that we had Chiesa on the bench. We didn't use him. We have Rio on the bench. Two very different options on the bench. We didn't use either option. And there are some reports stating, maybe giving hints as to why we didn't use one or the other. But Oliver James is saying, hopefully other teams have taken note on how to nullify Arsenal and possibly get a result. I hope so too. Unfortunately, a lot of those teams, I think, do know how to get a result. They just score own goals. Wolves were doing decent until they started scoring on themselves, basically. Let's see. Norm says, yes, it's a soft foul, but if it is outside the box, it's a free kick. So really, it is a pen. However, it's us, and we don't get them things or get those things. Certainly so. Certainly so. To be fair, Slot. To be fair to Slot, Jones is Red Armchair supporter saying this. To be fair to Slot, Jones and Chiesa were doubts for the game, so not surprised he didn't send them on. Okay, I can understand Jones, but I wasn't really calling for Jones to be. That wasn't the player that I wanted to see off the bench in this game. I wanted to see, first and foremost, I thought Rio. I think a lot of people echo what I'm saying. I wanted to see someone attack that back line. And don't get me wrong, I am a Gakpo fan, and I think Gakpo can be massively effective against certain teams. I just don't think that he was effective in this game for us as an attacking option. And I think someone that, I'm not going to say that Rio is Saka But what we saw from Saka in that first 20 minutes, give me 20 minutes of Rio doing that on the left, and I'm happy. We win, we lose, we draw. I would have been okay with the result because at least we were going for the win. I think that was where I was most disappointed. I wanted to see us go for the win as opposed to just somewhat settle for the draw and have people think that that's an accomplishment or a victory. No, I'm all about the W's. I'd have to put a pause behind what I was about to say, but I'm not going to say it. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, already know where I'm going with it. All right. But yeah. Norm says surely this month. I think possibly we will. Then once we this is I'm not an ITK, so I'm not trying to pretend like I am. But from what I've read and from what I'm seeing this coach do with not trusting Chiesa enough to be a integral part of our attack, I think we will sell him. I think that I think that what we're going to do is we're going to wait until Mohamed Salah returns from AFCON, and once he does, we will sell. I think Fabrizio doubled down on the fact that he thinks that that Chiesa is going to be making a return to Italy. I think it's going to happen. Unfortunately, I don't really want it to see it happen, but I think it's going to happen. Shout out to Bonkers. Big up, Bonkers.
Big up, Bonkers.
Giving us an update. It is 2-1, I guess,
Yeah.
right? Is that the final
Yeah,
score?
last minute. Yeah, last minute. It's just, I think he's about to blow in a minute. Oh.
Let's see. See if there's anything else that's going on.
Yeah. Game over. Villa 1, 2-1. They're through next round.
Villa is through to the next round. That is Thomas Frank having a tough time getting a footing and getting the proper support of his Spurs community. There's
some aftercuts.
Spurs are feisty. Spurs are feisty. Did you before we even go? So, we're going to go to another. I'm going to go over the whole. I'll give you kind of my take. First, the pride versus panic take. Is what I'm calling it. But I'm going to ask you real quick. There's a report out there, and you tell me in the chat too what you guys think. There was a report that apparently, and then this made me think of it because you said Spurs had lost. That Van de Ven, right? Is going to push for an exit from Spurs this summer. And what was kind of interesting, I didn't know this, by the way, but apparently the article that I was reading stated that Liverpool are his childhood team. It's the team that he grew up supporting. Would you make a move for the player?
Well, I'll flip the question on that. Who would you take out of Van der Ven or Slotterbeck? How about that? And the chat, who would you take, Van der Ven or Slotterbeck?
That's a good question. That's a good question. Very good question. I don't know. How about both? Is that how about both?
Cheating, are we?
Yeah. It wouldn't be that bad. I'm just thinking if one play right center half.
Yeah, they could possibly. I know they're both left-footed, but I don't
Right.
think it's out of the realm. They could do one, could do right. I mean, we've seen it before, The
I
footballers
was just
playing,
thinking that think about if we could. I know that no one wants to go back to a back three. I get that. I know people have, you know, memories of when Liverpool had a back three, but on this, every once in a while, with changing up maybe for whatever the opposition is in front of us, maybe a back three, and if you had Van de Ven and VVD and Schlotterbeck, maybe it wouldn't be that
Mm,
bad. Van is
mm.
always injured. He's Red Armchair supporters going with Schlotterbeck as his choice. I can
Then
understand that.
again, yeah, true. But Sotterbeck's had two serious injuries, so I think I
Schlotterbeck's
think
had
this
injuries
season,
too. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So I mean, Van der Ven for me has got more pace than Slotterbeck. I think he's
Yeah.
got more agility to read, and he comes out of the ball more. Like
Mhm.
you've seen his Moradian runs. Like a Gomez or Matip, which is great. They can burst through with the ball, which is great. So that'd be good. But Slotterbeck maybe he's a better header out. Van der Ven's a good header. I say a little bit better header of the ball.
Mhm.
Position wise, it's close. I'll just edit slightly to Slotterbeck.
Mm. I'd take both of the players eventually. Look, you know what? For a position on the pitch, I know some of the players, the young players that we brought in are are extremely young, 17, 18, 19 years old, all three of them. But at the very same time, we've definitely concentrated on figuring out what we're going to do with our center half position by bringing in some talent. Leone is going to eventually come back to the team, bringing in some young talent that could be, eventual additions to that back line. And then also, we will go get a center half. That will be one of the primary
Oh, 100%.
focuses.
Yeah. Probably
We'll get
two.
someone.
Probably two if Kanai doesn't sign his contract. Definitely two.
Yeah, and I think that I'm not really at this point with all the ups and downs and shenanigans that I've had with Konate. I'm not
Yeah.
bothered whichever way it goes. Really, right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Same with Trent for me. Like I said, I'm not
Yeah,
bothered. I was never said it. Remember, I said it before we knew his contract situation. I was never bothered if Trent going. We miss him, but same coach,
yeah,
but I'm not bothered. And Kanai is
mhm,
just whatever, like you said. And
yeah.
obviously, you know who I like before, but I just if he stays, he stays. He goes, he goes. It is what it is.
Mhm. Okay. All right. So I had a segment called Pride versus Panic. Um, I never thought I'd see an LFC team playing a low block. I've already stated that. And I mean, at times there were 5 or 6 men in the back line, like I stated before, too. And coming into this game, this was a game that there wasn't a lot of confidence. I predicted us to win this game, not because I was thinking that, oh, we're hands down the better team than Arsenal. I just thought it was that type of year. We've seen us step up against talented teams that should possibly, I don't say wipe the floor with us, but beat us. And we stepped up, whether home against Real Madrid or even away in Italy. We've stepped up and made a real presence on the pitch. But there wasn't a lot of confidence in the Liverpool camp, really. There wasn't really a lot of confidence amongst supporters, amongst neutrals. Um, Among the people who live on the Liverpool or Finnish takes, they were loud and proud. We had trolls frequenting our set, here and trying to disrupt our conversations and our discussions. And I'll admit, in the build-up, my view was that it wasn't exactly pretty. Arsenal aren't that kind of team that has open play brilliance on the pitch. I don't think they do. But I still thought we could get some type of result. I didn't start drawing this game. I had us winning 2-0. If anything, maybe a 1-0 win on a penalty or something like that. So in that context, a 0-0 feels like a result, I guess. But better than recent draws because of the level of talent on that Arsenal team. Like, as in us getting a draw against Fulham or us getting a draw against Leeds does not sit the same as us getting a draw against Arsenal. We made them work. We kept the ball. We counter-press. And make no mistake, Arsenal did not plan to give us that. Liverpool took it. But I'm also going to be honest about the frustration, and that is the attack. We had 8 shots, 0 on target. It was 0.36 xG. That's not bad. That is poor. Context matters. I understand that. We don't have Isak. We don't have Ekitike. There's no Salah. I understand all those relevances. But I'm still frustrated because Arsenal were susceptible. There were moments where one decision, maybe a little bit less on the ball from Bradley, and all of a sudden, one brave sub maybe or one cleaner final ball changes the story. And this is where I'm going to lean into it. If Bradley doesn't get hurt, Slot would have made 0 subs. That's the part that gets under my skin because it's like a coach saying, I'm not going to mess with this. It's working. And it's working to the point where we're not conceding. We're controlling the ball, got possession, but we ain't scoring. And I understand we need stability. Fine, that's fair. But don't tell me you're an attacking-minded coach and then close the game down like you're protecting a 1-goal lead in the cup final. So yes, big steps needed in attack, but it was, in my opinion, an embarrassment that we didn't we didn't take the opportunity at hand. This was a platform that was told to us that it was where we were going to get destroyed. We were going to get embarrassed. And next thing you know, it's 0-0 going to halftime. And we come out looking like a team that could walk away with 3 points if we were able to properly build on it. And I'm going to ask you in the chat, I'm going to ask Nalante too, should we be, it's an uncomfortable question too. And Lawrence McKenna, Mr. Lawrence McKenna, my fellow Red, I'm asking you this question too. Should we be proud of the performance or alarmed that our standards have been reduced to a low block team settling for draws? Everyone knows I'm with the latter. I'm asking you that honest question. Because case in point, in the unbeaten run, those draws are points left on the table. The invincible vibes that we have don't matter if you're losing, if you're not closing the gap on second or third or even first. If in that run, which is wild to say, but in that run of this 10-game span that we've had unbeaten, if this is 10 wins instead of 5 wins and 5 draws, I think it is, right? We're looking at 10 plus points to our tally. We're looking at a team that would be 2 points off of first place. So I'm asking, is it what we wanted out of this performance? Anyone, you're more than welcome to have your opinions. And I'm not saying your opinions are wrong. I'm just asking the question just to hear what we're feeling. What are you feeling, Alante?
I wouldn't say I'm proud from the performance. It was decent. It was decent. Yeah, we more involved after the first 25 minutes, and but we moved the ball. Yeah, Redemption, yeah, we dominated, but did we really? Yes, with the ball possession, yes, but where was the effort? There's no real effort. There's no shots on target. We've got to be clear. We made some good stuff and up to the edge of the box, but there was nothing really. So yeah, we dominated, but what's domination? Domination is getting shots on target, making stuff count with the ball. We were more threatening areas, so to speak. So it was improved performance, but again, we didn't. We still disappointing because the game was there to be won, and we didn't. For me, we didn't,
Yeah.
and it just sums up recently. And we'll talk about Chiesa, and I think it was Armchair said Jones and Chiesa were doubts, but they weren't really doubts, were they? If they're really, really that bad, if they really, really were they really, really that bad not to be used? Because if this was Hugo on the bench or Mo or something like that, would have they been used? They would have. It's just the fact that he just, for whatever reason, and we'll see. Like I said, reports about him going to Juve, whether it happened to not goes. I mean, you could have used, and let's just say they were unfit to play. He could have used Kaiser for 20 minutes. He could have. I mean, regardless, he could have played it for 20 minutes, but let's just have the equation both were doubts or whatever, because it was, what's the point of them on the bench? That's the thing. But if you really didn't want to, there's Rio there. And it's good, but we can't sit here and say, "Oh, it was a great performance." It was an improved performance, but a great performance is taking advantage of control of the game in the midfield and winning that game. So it was okay. It was just okay. It was just decent. We didn't get the beatdown that a lot of us feared, but again, it's more frustrating because if we got the beat down in this, I would have been like, right, why am I not surprised? But it's even more frustrating to say the game was there to be won. It was right there, and we didn't do enough. Is which is we didn't do enough, and Slot didn't make the substitutions to go and win the game. That's it.
Yeah. Red Arm Transport says, agree, much improved in performance, but definitely not great. I've seen some people reference it as being a great performance, as it's a great result. I know I saw even some mocking those that were going about acting as if this draw was a win. I don't think any of us should be necessarily, pounding our chest because we got a draw. But I'm not angry to the point where I'm saying, "Oh, he needs to be sacked," or "Oh, this is unexcusable," or blah 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 blah. We got a result. That's fantastic, but I just think that there was opportunity to get more than just a point from this game. That's my point. And again, I'm not saying I haven't been slot out. There were some slot rumors out there. I don't know if you saw this report out there. I don't know. I don't really know what's real anymore when it comes to this slot, back and forth. What's noise? What's reality? What's really happening? And we all know that a lot of what happens with Liverpool stays behind closed doors. You don't really get that many leaks from this team. But here we go. The weekend whispers. Let's just get into it so we can kind of like get it out there and kind of move on from it, because there have been reports that Liverpool could sack Arne Slot. Reports flying around a bit of Spanish menace going into the dramatic effect and suddenly people are acting like the axe is being sharpened as we speak. James Pierce stepped in and kind of threw a lot of cold water on this and said his message was no, his job is not in immediate jeopardy, and it shouldn't be, in Pierce's opinion. Pierce pointed out Liverpool are still in the Champions League places. We're still in the hunt, technically, for the league, and the club has had compassion for what Slot has dealt with this season, including moments that go beyond tactics and transfers. Obviously, the loss of Jota and the injuries that we've had are all part of that dynamic. Now, I'm not going to go as far as to say, does this mean that Slot has been flawless? Absolutely not. Even Pierce acknowledged mistakes, tactical calls that have gone wrong at times, substitutions that don't land like they did last year. A season where everything turned to gold has turned into a season of lead, in essence, or fake gold, maybe. And here's the second layer. Sometimes, even when things are going topsy-turvy for you, well-run clubs will plan contingency plans. That doesn't mean you're firing the manager tomorrow. It means that you're not asleep at the wheel. These are the names that are being put out there, from gold to mold. Yeah, that's even better. And tell me how you're feeling. If any of these names get you off your seat. The names being linked in the contingency chatter are these: Glasner, Glasner, Zerbi, Farioli, excuse me, and Iriola. Different profiles, different philosophies. Not one of those coaches am I really that over the moon for, to be honest with you. All basically signaling one thing: Liverpool hierarchy is still value structure, tactical identity, modern coaching ideas. If it's up to me, I hold out for Luis Enrique, or even if Alonso, things go south in Madrid, I even maybe go towards bringing in Alonso. One of those two are top on my list. But let me be clear: this is the real headline isn't Slot is getting sacked. He's not. The real headline is Slot is being evaluated this year if we are going to go forward after this summer. If it's about bringing in players that fit him, or more so fitting players towards Liverpool. And that's the real question of where it is with the club and the direction that we take with Arnie. And it's interesting. It's an interesting one. Because I do have a segue, but I'm going to ask, before I even get into the segue, I'll ask you, like, do you think Arnie's job is really in jeopardy, by the way? And do any of those names move you to say, oh, we need to act on that? Any of those names that you're like, hey, that's the name that we should go forward with, Nolante? Oh, you're off mute, but there's no audio. Let's see. While he gets that set and straight, a draw is never a great result. It's not something to celebrate as a Liverpool fan, but performance-wise, it was a step in the right direction, in his opinion, especially for a defensive point of view. Okay. Point. That's a very, very solid point, by the way. Very solid point. I don't know, Nolante, can you hear us? I think something might be up with Nolante's. Yeah, Nolante's going to come back. Probably log off and log back in. For some reason his audio wasn't working. But are any of those names out there bell ringers for you. Are any of those names on the list? Luis Enrique was not on this reported list of names that I saw with the article that the James Pierce. A positive for us in maybe getting Enrique to come to the Premier League is that Enrique has spoken about wanting to coach in the Premier League in the past. He also has spoken on the fact that, or announced that he is not, they've offered him an extension. PSG has offered an extension, and Enrique has turned down that extension. So at the moment, he could become a free agent. Or he could become he could be a manager on the move and free to pick whatever team he wants and pick not only pick whatever team he wants, but also pick not have anything related to, like, providing compensation for the move to actually go through for other teams. All right, I'm going to get into, while we wait for Nalante possibly to join us back. I'm going to get into this next segment because this is all about Arnie, and I wanted to do a thing called I call it Slot in his own words. So that is, Slot says he finds it hard to hear at Liverpool are dull and boring. He says he's used different words and taken certain things into account. And I get that emotionally. I understand that. I understand where he's coming from, but I think the complaint exists for a reason. And his own quotes basically outline the contradiction. He says he wants to win and play attractive football, and that the issue is teams playing in these games are not playing in an attractive way. He talks about low blocks. He talks about ugly setups. He talks about different things that he admits are the reasons why we are unable the beauty in the Asian for us. And he admits we haven't found enough answers yet, but we're working every day to get there. It's not a relief to hear, but he is making his case. And what he's making his case by doing is saying teams are packing the team of midfielders isn't by choice. That's basically what he's saying. He's saying his choice in what we did yesterday or 2 days ago, for instance, isn't by choice. It's a result of injuries. And someone could say, fair, I understand. You're making adjustments to the team and going to the strong suits. We have more midfielders available than we do strikers at the time. But the lived experience this season is that we often look like we're protecting draws instead of managing moments, not imposing identity. And then the most revealing part, he admits teams play low and direct against us because it works. Because we struggle to create chances. And he even says he would do what other teams are doing against us. Now, I'm going to land here because I've already stated that I think Liverpool don't look like the team that I identified as being this team for the past 10 years. We look boring. We look slow in build-up. That's because the system doesn't consistently generate high-quality central advantages. We recycle the ball too much, in my opinion. We go wide. We go side to side. We cross into zones without the right personnel. And when we do create moments, we don't finish them. Under Klopp, identity was felt every day, even on bad days. You knew what the identity of this team was: intensity, chaos, waves of commitment and perseverance, emotional pressure. You always knew what Liverpool wanted the match to become. Now, too often, we look like we're reacting to what the match will become rather than instilling our position on other clubs. And the irony of this all is we're staying predominantly healthy in key areas. Identity is about staying predominantly healthy in key areas. And it's a big reason why we won the league last year. And Slot deserves credit for that stability. But the warning is obvious. When rhythm dips, identity has to carry you. Right now, it's ho-hum. So this is why I'm going to say this. The games we saw, so there's a bunch of games in the FA Cup today. We're going to have a bunch of games proceeding too as well. We have our own FA Cup game coming up. I think this is a unique difference in our approach to the FA Cup this year as opposed to last year. Because the season's landscape is changing. The league title is drifting away. The League Cup, gone. But Liverpool still want Champions League football. And now the FA Cup starts to look less like rotation minutes and more like real opportunity. And Red Armchair supporter, you're reading my mind right now. I personally think that from what I'm reading, from what I'm seeing, what I'm seeing Virgil say about this FA Cup, what I'm seeing our own coach emphasize about this FA Cup. This is going to be an important tournament for us. Last season, the FA Cup felt like collateral damage. This whole bigger fish to fry sentiment or mentality. This is the FA Cup and the League Cup. That's for the youth academy players. That's for up and coming talent and fringe players. That's what we were told by this coach last season in accepting our exit from those tournaments. This year, the cup becomes a route to meaning, a route to momentum, maybe, a route to something you can put in the cabinet while the league table kind of mocks you. And that's why I like the framing of what we're hearing. I honestly would love to hear what you think. And if you can answer Red Armchair supporters' question, would you go strong in the FA Cup? Would you go strong in the FA Cup by playing players, especially considering our opponent after this game? One, it's a game at Anfield. Two, the game afterward is against a team fighting relegation at Anfield once again. And I will admit that doesn't say much about us this year, because we all know how that could end up and result teams that are at the bottom or the bottom half of the table still getting results against us. So that has nothing to do with it, whether away or home. But I do think that we need to use this cup to prove a point. Champions League will be fantastic. Trust me, I've already put that prediction out there, and I'm hoping that it becomes true. And I still do think that we are more set up to win Champions League than we are to win the Premier League currently. But I have to think it's important, maybe more so than ever. Virgil van Dijk basically said, our captain said exactly that. He said, Barnsley are coming. They're fighting. And Liverpool have to be ready to finish them off. Language matters, people. I'm telling you, my brethren, it matters. It's not some, we'll see, we'll manage it, or, we'll get through. Maybe we'll get through this. We'll see how the young kids do, or this and that. We've got to finish the job and get through this next stage in the FA Cup. Because don't get it twisted. We've seen some upsets. Barnsley is exactly the type of game where Liverpool have embarrassed themselves in cup history before, and I don't want to see us do it again. And you don't need ancient history to really understand what I'm talking about. You just need the psychology of a team that's been allowing playing to teams' levels, drawing too much against teams that no means deserve to have a draw against us. And that's why it makes a difference. It does make a difference. So that game, I'll give you an update on that game as best I can. For those watching AFCON, Egypt is up 3-1 in the 60th minute. They had Ivory Coast scored on a own goal, or got a goal through an own goal. But they are certainly doing their work, trying to get back into this game. But Mohamed Salah has just scored the third goal, possibly a goal that can separate the teams and keep them separated. It'll be interesting. It will be. I think a lot of people. I don't know if you're out there are pushing for this or not, but I think I would love to have seen. I don't know if they can meet. Let me double check and see if they can even meet in the knockout. Let's see. No, so it'll be either Senegal and Egypt will meet in the next round if Egypt can prevail. So basically, it'll be. I wish that could have been Senegal versus Egypt again for the AFCON trophy. That would have been pretty cool. At least one of our Reds or former Reds would have been taking home the glory of lifting the AFCON. Second time for Mane, or the first time for Salah. But back to what I was saying. I have to think that this game means a lot. I really think that this upcoming Barnsley game means a lot. And that's why when asked, do I go with a strong lineup? I go with a moderately strong lineup. I'm not going to go overboard and say play all of our starters, obviously. But what I would say is certainly, Rio gets a start. Chiesa should get a start. Neone should get a start. Those three should definitely get starts. And those are the three players that I think should get a start as the youth movement. beyond, and I know kids, it's not youth movement, but you know what I mean. Youth/fringe movement. Beyond that, I don't mind seeing starters in roles playing for this team. Gomez obviously isn't a starter, but I want to see Gomez play. I want to see Marmadashvili play. You rest VVD. Personally, I think you rest. I said the lineup that I predicted yesterday, but I think that you rest VVD. You start Robbo, and you start Robbo in the left center half role. You give Kirkez another start to continue pushing forward. You give Gomez a start on that right side, and then on the other side of him, originally I just say play Frimpong. I'd have Frimpong on the bench. I'm going to put Ramsey in. I'm going to put Ramsey in at right back. So put Kirkez and Ramsey in at left and right. Slot acknowledged the weirdness of this game, of this Arsenal game, at least. The weirdness of the praise of the Arsenal. He said, people call it boring when Liverpool dominate possession against smaller sides, but now it's a great performance because the opponent is Arsenal. I don't know if he's really recognizing why people are saying that completely. And I can understand why. You can do so while still admitting that Liverpool hardly created a chance, and that we still created a narrative that we had possession in this game. And again, I would start. I certainly think that I would start those players that we were trying to get some real progress for in form and the likes. Start McAllister. Start Curtis Jones, especially if he's healthy. Start Curtis Jones. Those are the kinds of occurrences that I'm looking for in this upcoming game. And Barnsley isn't going to be an easy win, but I want it to be a convincing win. We need to see us have a convincing win, show progress in figuring out how to break down teams that are going to set up in low blocks. Maybe, I don't know. If you can't look like Liverpool against a League One side at Anfield, then I don't know what kind of identity you're selling to the people. That's my point. The final ball prevented some big chances. I agree, Red Armchair supporter. It did. It really, really did. It really did. I guess Nalante is not coming back. Maybe Nalante has something come up, or because but Nalante did have to go to work at 8:00, so that's why Nalante is no longer with us at the moment. He did have to go to work. Bonker says he rests VVD, plays Gomez and Endo, leave Konate on the bench. I don't know if Endo is going to be 100% fit for this game. I don't know if they'll be 100% fit for this game. Let me see if I can see. I'm going to see if there's been any updates on Endo. All right, let's see. Yeah, Endo's still doubtful. I'm wondering, has anyone heard any updates? I have not heard an update for Bradley yet. I've not heard any injury updates on Bradley just yet. Any definitive updates as to what it is, and what's the exact injury, what's the extent of the injury. Is it going to be something that requires surgery, or is it just rest, or is it just, um, what exactly is going to be for Connor? I'm hoping it's nothing bad, obviously, but it is a question of what happens. I don't know if anyone's heard that. Renner says him neither, and on Eketike. Eketike is a weird one that they're holding that very close to the chest. Originally, it was supposed to be something that Eketike was doubtful, but he was originally was going to be a must, or a wait and see for whether he was going to be able to go in training and then eventually go in the game. Now it's more of maybe they're doing it because they want to they don't want to jeopardize not only the only real outright bona fide striker that we have, but also maybe it's because they don't want to jeopardize the recovery or the availability of a player that has been very on point for us. Easily one of our best players this season. Easily one of our best players. Okay, TK. Shout out to a man like Matt, as well. For people that say, make these calls, or they say this guy's the truth or this guy's that or whatever, if you make that call, I'm going to give you props for it. I'm not going to be on some try to steal your spotlight. Man like Matt was very, very bullish on TK. Bonkers is going Mama Dashvili. He's going Mama. He's going Ramsey. He's going Gomez. He's going Kanate. He's going Rabo. He's going Jones. He's going Trey, Maka, Rio, Frimpong, and Will Wright. Okay. That's a very interesting shout. Will Wright. Let me see if he is injured. I'm gonna look him up and see if he's injured. Let's see. This one was just reported. So Will Wright has just returned. Will Wright returns for Liverpool's U21s with first team squad hint. Liverpool's U21s came back from behind 3-2 at Norwich. Let's see. I don't know why he's not. Figueroa is saying here he may not be the first striker at the academy, but he is certainly taking his opportunities. Keyroll he's a very talented player. Despite him emerging as the hero, he didn't start. Instead, Will Wright led the line. 17-year-old summer signing, making his first competitive appearance since suffering a knee injury in September. Notably, Calvin Ramsey was the only fit member of Rob Page's under-21 squad not involved. I think that's important because I think he will get time in that in our game. And let's see. We could see him in the capacity against Barnsley. That's what it's saying. I think we will see Ramsey against Barnsley. Will Wright apparently is fit to be available. Now, whether he plays or not, that's a different story because he did participate in this U21 game. He did. Nallo could leave on loan this month, apparently. So maybe we won't see him be involved in the call-up. And who else is out there? But Will Wright still returning to full fitness, as he was replaced up front by Figueroa on the hour mark. It would be on the on corner who made the difference, the newcomer that made the difference. So yeah. We'll see if he gets a start. That'd be interesting. I don't think Will Wright will get a start, but it'd probably be on the lineup. That's not about Chout. He might be in the lineup. I don't think he'll be in the starting lineup, but I think he'll be in the I think he will be in the lineup. Again, my lineup would be Marmadashvili in goal, Ramsey on the right, Gomez, Robbo, Kirkez, Neone, McAllister, Rio, Curtis, if Curtis is healthy, Chiesa, and I want to switch. I want to utilize this as an opportunity to see Florian Wirtz as a false nine for us. Well, all right. Well, I know I've gone off.
Cool.
Yeah. I'm using my phone, hotspotting my phone. Apparently, my internet here at where I'm staying has gone out. I am going to end the show here, primarily because running the show off my phone is not
It's
really,
hard. Yeah.
it's not easy. But I was at the end of the show anyway.
Good. Bless up, brother. Hunter.
Yeah, big up, JK.
Bless up, brother.
I think
Interesting day of FA Cup, but yeah. Any injury
Yeah.
news? Anything? Any latest
No
injuries?
news. I didn't get anything, any updates on Connor Bradley. I haven't seen any updates on Ekitike. The only updates I did kind of see was the fact that the youngster Wright is available. So because I think it was I think Bonkers was making that shout that he would get the start maybe for us this weekend, or not this weekend, but in our FA Cup game. And yeah, other than that, not much at all. Not much at all. No updates.
Okay.
But we'll be back tomorrow. I'll be back tomorrow. Hopefully, I have an update for you guys tomorrow. You doing okay?
All good, bro. All good. Watched a bit of football today, FA Cup and stuff, you know.
Yeah, some big upsets.
Yep. Gahey, he looked bad, man. He's going to play in the World Cup, probably against Messi, all these guys and that. Yeah, but today he was getting done by the number 9 of, I think it was Macclesfield, yeah. Yeah, fair play.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The connection isn't.
Yeah. Connection is not the greatest. Before it gets any worse, I'm gonna end the show here. But we'll get more into it tomorrow. Are you gonna be available tomorrow?
Yeah, that's cool, bro.
Okay. You gonna be free tomorrow?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, hopefully you out there in the chat will be free. Had a good number of you on X, and also had a great number of you also on YouTube joining us today, which is cool. I think Brian is live currently, so if you do want to go to see another presentation, maybe even get on the horn and start talking, speaking your truths into the stratosphere, into the Liverpool stratosphere, then I would say go and join Anfield Irishman. I don't have the ability to move you over there, not just yet, but all the same, I would go check that out. We are going to be, yeah. He'll drop JK will drop the link in the chat. We're going to be signing off here. Hopefully my song will play. Who knows? It didn't play in the very beginning. StreamYard's acting kind of weird today for us. So anyways, big up to each and every one of you that joined us today. Thank you for doing so. We'll get everything stored tomorrow. That's the episode. Reports of Dom leaning further into extending with Liverpool. That's a positive. The noise around Slot just being that noise. I think Arnie will be here at least to the end of the season. The truth from the pitch, obviously, we spoke about that as well. How we know there are things that there be more than one truth sometimes, and the next step is simple: make the Arsenal performance mean something. Go into this FA Cup with the mentality of a champion, not a tourist, and get the result. Make a positive result. And I mean, not just hey, we got through this game 2-0, 1-0, something like that. I want to see us actually make a dominant performance, a real dominant, elite performance in our FA Cup game, so we can have a little momentum possibly to go into that Barnsley game. So if you enjoyed the episode, please hit the like button, subscribe if you're new. And I, as well as JK, big shout out to Delante, who was with us earlier. Hope that he settled in to work well. And yeah, do you want to say something real quick before we bounce?
Yeah, great. Just to quickly be on that. Yeah, we've got another show, but we'll preview the FA Cup game probably tomorrow. So,
Yeah. Exactly. Yep. That's what we got planned.
Peace out, Red Armchair. Top
Peace
class.
out. Peace out. The producer, JK, the producer of the show. I love it. He's dropping, giving teasers
Part
out
of
there for
family.
everyone. Yes, that's right. All right. Yes, we'll be FA Cup preview tomorrow. We'll see you guys then. Hopefully, everyone is well. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. And as always, up the Reds, my people. Up the Reds. Peace.